We're back to watch some more G.I. Joe cartoons. This time we're going to be watching a 5-part series, Arise, Serpentor, Arise, which kicked off season 2 of the cartoon. So there's a lot of new characters, a lot of new vehicles that have to be introduced. But I'm excited to get into this 5-part series. Valdrick and Johnny have joined me.
Whoop whoop!
Are you guys ready for some more G.I. Joe?
Oh yeah!
Arise!
Yo, Joe. Talking comics, here's your host. It's A Real American Brian.
Yo, Joe!
We'll get our new opening, but same song.
Yep.
I was excited to see Sergeant Slaughter.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks for the spoiler, Valdrick.
Who's starting?
Oh, here. I thought you meant. Okay. Sorry. Trouble Bubble.
Yeah.
Is Hawk. Do you think he ever gets hot wearing the coat all the time?
You would think so, right?
And the helmet all the time.
To defend human freedom against Cobra, a ruthless terrorist organization determined to rule the world.
Battle Android Troopers.
Yeah, so this was definitely more my era of toys. I had a lot more of these characters and vehicles in general. So
I never had a Hawk figure ever. It must have been after my time.
So when it comes,
Yeah.
duck. Now you just put it over the plate, Roadblock, and I'll see what I can do about sending it to your
Any official word in the lineups here?
Man, I don't know, but I'm not impressed with any of their game.
I want to know. They have enough people where Shipwreck can just write poems over here.
If a foul can feed you, you'd better believe Cobra can.
Oh, is this the pulling rank scene?
Yes,
Yeah.
it doesn't seem accurate at all.
No, but I went by it. That was,
They
you know.
deserve some R&R. Next time we're in combat,
There were a lot of references to who's in charge of who on both Cobra and this, which is the whole theme of the miniseries. Still,
Wow. Come back on Amateur Night, clowns.
You call this military?
What season is this, by the way?
Season 2, episode 1.
Yeah. Valdrick, you said before we started, animation's way better. I'd agree.
yeah.
Yeah.
Every time I play it, somebody wants to punch me out.
Very funny.
Yeah, funny.
You aren't Beachhead. First comes Hawk,
Yep.
then Duke, then me, and finally you.
Beachhead's like, so I got to kill 3 people. Fine.
Hand me the crescent wrench, will you? No.
So is that the overall ranking or just amongst them 4?
They are the highest, other than Johnny's favorite.
Yeah. Well, Flint is, I mean, he led my armies. So Duke would take out the ram cycle, crash, and then Flint would take over every battle.
Yes, sir. I am alert, sir.
It's weird that Stalker's not in any of these. How come? He was high ranked.
Yeah, I don't know.
Are the bats ready, Scrap Iron?
And Scarlet was high ranking as well.
This is the last battle android trooper.
Battle Android Trooper.
We're ready to attack.
I did like Scrap Iron a lot more in this episode. I never remembered how much as a kid, but
I didn't remember what's a kid, and I saw that new Classified figure, and I'm like, well, maybe I'll have to get into Scrap Iron. Whoa. The graphics aren't going to get any better than this.
No.
Ever.
Supposed to be monitoring the base perimeter.
Vietnam, I learned the best way to stay alert
Vietnam.
on guard duty is
Wow.
to occasionally
As a
divert
kid, this is my
attention
first
so
reference
you
to
won't get
Vietnam.
the 1,000-yard stare.
General quarters, now!
worst field trip ever.
I know, we went to the Robert Crown Sex Center, then Vietnam. Chicagoland joke.
Yes.
Hit Cobra's flank. We've got to prevent a pincer's movement on our control center. Regroup all units and
Oh,
fall
there goes Sega
back.
Master
Make our
System.
stand on the airfield.
For slow Joes. For funny Joes. Rather poor shots, eh, Thomas?
I had sci-fi as a kid, but even then I hated him. Like,
Yeah.
he always ended up dying in my battles.
I'm just glad red and blue lasers can show who's on whose side.
Yeah.
What are those things?
They look like robots.
That's android troopers.
That's what they do best.
And that gun never gets hot for roadblock.
No,
I guess
never.
that's a laser thing.
I would say they're weaker in the comics, bats, correct?
Yeah, probably. But I mean, I think in the cartoon you just get a lot more of them. Like the numbers seem to be much higher. I thought it was kind of weird that scrap iron was assembling them, though.
Yeah. What the hell?
Unidentified object on the left flank. Intercept and destroy.
Prepare for hand-to-hand combat, Joes.
Hand-to-hand combat.
Yeah.
But this vehicle gets so much criticism from people about how ridiculous it is with the open canopy. I get it, but it's still badass when it's Sergeant Slaughter.
But isn't there the Cobra helicopter's open canopy too?
Yeah, but I guess you're in the air, so it's not as much.
Looks like we've got ourselves a second front. Let's take them apart.
So I think so. As a kid, Sergeant Slaughter was always the leader of my Joes, and I think because this kind of puts me back in that time frame, and maybe I was taking those influences from this cartoon a lot more. Because he definitely feels like the biggest badass in G.I. Joe.
Was this his first appearance in a cartoon?
I think so. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I believe it is.
It feels like they don't know him.
Yeah, I was getting this was his first appearance because
Then my thought is, so Sergeant Slaughter, so he came into G.I. Joe already rising the ranks, I guess.
But it looked like your party was getting out of hand. It was, Sergeant Slaughter. And the truth is, we deserve to lose.
We deserve to lose.
Yeah. I'm glad Barbecue made it just in time.
Was responsible for our loss.
He was working the grill.
Yeah.
Our precious bats were nothing but ineffectual, high-tech designer dollies.
The bats were perfect. They would have wiped out G.I. Joe if you...
Here we go.
Yeah.
Dr. Mindbender.
No, the Joes will be on guard against future attacks.
I think that's another introduction.
You have set back
Might be.
our long-awaited day.
He was in the basement working on some fun toys for later.
You are merely Cobra's chief interrogator and science officer.
Cobra Commander wears the hood when he's relaxed, like chilling, right? And then the helmet when he's in battle.
I think it's so funny that they reference Dr. Mindbender's like file card there, talking about how he's the chief investigator and everything. Where normally, like in all the stories, he's always like this big scientist,
But also dentist, right?
yeah, he former dentist. He needs to put that behind him.
G.I. Joe will return after these messages.
I just like that they had real jobs. Like it made you feel like as a kid, if you made a poor choice in life, you could still join G.I. Joe Cobra later on.
Yeah. First become a dentist,
Right.
then move on.
Then you're like 35 and you're like, what have I done with my life?
Wait a minute, Slaughter. The Joes have gotten careless and sloppy. Why don't you stick around and train them?
Sloppy Joes. Yeah, good one, Brian.
No, I want you to stay and whip them into shape.
Well,
I'm your man.
was Sergeant
Other
Slaughter
recruits that
wrestling?
he was going to train.
Sorry, Mike, go ahead.
Who are the other recruits that Slaughter was going to?
I think that's a reference to the movie, but I'm not sure. Because in the movie, he has some new characters he trains.
So Sergeant Slaughter was already in wrestling now in the other universe, or no? Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, he was wrestling long before the.
Oh well, yeah. Sorry, like I mean like on national, like WWF.
Yeah. 'Cause
Oh,
when he took the G.I. Joe job, it was kind of he had to cut ties with WWE because of the toy issue. So it was a big thing with Vince.
So when I first saw this,
You were impressed with the DNA model?
I was, well, it should be a cylinder, not a Christmas tree. And I was like, is that Christmas tree supposed to be DNA?
No,
Are
this
they
came
trying to show it
out around
so
Christmas.
massive, but the, you know.
Yeah, science is your answer.
Yeah.
It came out around Christmas time, and we were trying to get the kids interested in science at that time. You know what I mean? It's like a Christmas miracle right here.
It's something. Yeah, but I mean, there's no double helix or anything. It's just this spiraled Christmas tree.
Well, there's two different colors, so I'm guessing that was supposed to be the double helix, but it's all just water molecules. Is all it is.
That's all Serpentor's really made of is water.
Yeah. He's got a great bed, though.
He was humping it at the beginning.
Do they show everybody where he comes from in this too, right? All the famous military leaders in this one.
They mentioned it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's in the upcoming,
Okay.
And there was Snow Job, too.
Yeah.
So starting today, we're gonna fix all that.
Who's the guy in red?
Your hearts to America, Joe. But your butt's
Lifeline?
to me.
Oh, okay.
The pacifist that definitely needs this training from Sergeant Slaughter.
2, 3, 4. Good work, Sergeant. This is just what the Joes need to
Is
get
that why he's in
motivated.
red? He's gonna die first.
Hear that? With all due respect, General Hawk, you're a Joe, and you're gonna join them. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
What general in the world is going to laugh that off and be like, okay.
Slaughter's getting court-martialed immediately.
Yeah.
I've got an arthritic grandmother who can beat the whole lot of you.
Talk Sergeant Slaughter. If you're so blasted tough,
That's some great
why
hair.
don't you prove
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why he usually wears the helmet.
Try me, but make it interesting. All of you tackle me at once.
Does he do a cobra clutch?
I don't think so. I mean, this animation on this fight was left a lot to be desired.
Did I make
So
my
5
point?
Joes just went for his knees.
Yeah. And I didn't even lose my hat, maggot.
Boom, boom, boom. We gotta remember how to win. Grit them teeth and dig on in. Yo, Joe. Yo, Joe. Let's go. Yo, Joe. Let's go. Yo, Joe. Yo, Joe. Better. Not perfect, but better.
Better.
Must never learn of this meeting. If he does, the future
They're
of
having
our
this
great
meeting
movement
in
and even
Cobra
our lives could be in jeopardy.
headquarters, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
With pictures of Cobra Commander all over the walls. I mean,
Yes.
Brian made a bug joke.
Yeah. I was laughing because, the bug is a bug. Nice.
Since our present leader is worthless, I will create a new one.
I want to know what this monocle is made out of, too. It changes shape, and sometimes it looks like it blinks.
It's made out of all the great eyes of great scientists of the past. All the greatest eyes.
DNA molecules taken from history's greatest conquerors. Their tomb shall provide us with the raw material.
So, Valdrick, as a man of science, how can they get the DNA from all of these tombs? Like, it's still there? Or wouldn't it have somehow...
Yes, it would have degraded.
Not evaporated. It's degraded.
Yeah, yes. It degrades at crime scenes over the course of hours. So, yeah.
Well, inside of like a tomb, would it last longer?
No.
Must be done at once.
Treachery! I accuse you of vile acts of base treason! For this you shall pay the ultimate penalty!
Eliminate us and there will be no
It did predate Jurassic Park, though, so.
My God is loyal!
Would you really care to test the truth?
I've tested it on my codpiece. Is Baroness in this episode, or is she not around anymore?
She's not in this episode. I'm sure she still pops up.
Are the red soldiers higher rank?
They're the Crimson Guardsmen.
They're the
so
Crimson
they
Guard.
are-
Yeah, okay, yeah. I remember that from the figure one now. Okay.
So
They like infiltrate the real world governments from the inside mostly, but they're
But
supposed
I
to be
will say, from a
loyal.
protection standpoint, I don't know why they would be deemed better protectors of Cobra Commander than, Cobra officers would be.
Yeah.
I mean,
Is this the face of a patsy? No, it's correct.
it's like, Dad, define Patsy.
I mean, I'm not quite sure. I can't see your face. Go ahead and take the mask off.
Yeah.
Humiliate himself. And if he succeeds, I will master, mesmerize, and manipulate his creature like a pathetic puppet I shall
Like,
become an even greater
if you succeed, I'll buy you new overalls.
They're looking good, Sergeant.
There's a lot of green shirts in this episode.
Yeah.
I just forgot what it takes to stay that way.
Attention! A Cobra Knight Raven has.
So they do have like unnamed Joes as well
Yeah.
as recruits.
Looks like we're going to see how effective
Yeah, you
your
need
training
someone
was,
to get
Sergeant
injured.
Slaughter.
And
Yeah.
Yo, Joe! Rescue backup following. Yo, Joe!
so the Conquest and the Tomahawk here, I had both of those. Those were my big vehicles that I had as a kid.
Tomahawk was it like that big as a toy?
It was pretty big. Yeah.
Uh-oh. Got a drone. 12 o'clock dead on.
So the drone is it robot or is it like remote controlled or?
Great question. I don't know.
No, it was a character named Drone.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Because it has a cockpit and
Yeah.
yeah, so
What is it? I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure.
So the Serpentor story, it stretches out over 5 episodes because it's not the focal point of any of these. Like,
Yeah, so it's like I think it's really cool what they did, but there was like a main story, and then the Serpentor was kind of like this flavoring secondary story that was going through all of them.
so was this on TV or was this a tape you had to buy?
This was both.
Okay.
I think that it was on TV in 2 different formats than the 5 episodes, and I believe they aired it all as one big thing too.
Hey, look, a Cobra message pod.
Good thing their logo's on it.
I know. How did they know what it was?
A gold bar and a roll of parchment.
gold bar would be really heavy.
Yeah.
From Dr.
Give me that gold, you maggots.
You mean they can read? This is a contract between Sartan and Cobra regarding a mission so important. Sartan is asked to bring in for backup support.
Just crush
his
that
brother and
parchment,
sister.
you know?
And they had a lot of information on the Dreadnoks on that parchment too.
Yeah.
Sartan is also recruiting at least one more Dreadnought. Whatever that mission is.
Was the
it's
sister a
definitely
main
in
character
the league.
or
This here
in the Dreadnought
Sartan's
community?
very heavy
She was used quite a bit.
Okay.
We've got to
Xander
find
wasn't
out what's
used
going
as
down
much.
before
No.
he
And
leaves
then
us team.
it was
I need
mentioned
3
even fewer times they were
volunteers.
actually twins,
Volunteers? 1, 2,
but I think that was only mentioned a few
3.
times.
It felt like Xandar did something wrong because Zorana felt like second in command.
Yeah. But they both had the color-changing skin on the toy that Zartan had as well.
Were there any twins in G.I. Joe? It seems like all the twins are evil.
Well,
twins
that's probably
are evil.
Yeah.
a theme of it. Yeah, that's probably.
No, I don't think there were any Joe twins.
Our next dreadnought.
And that will be me, mister.
I didn't realize Monkey Wrench came in afterwards. I just thought he was introduced with the original Dreadnought.
I heard the band called Slither made the recruitment for more Dreadnought been more popular.
I was actually curious about that.
Mike, your question is, did they go on tour? And the answer is they did not have time.
We saw that last episode. They filled the stadium, you know.
They did, yeah. I mean, with hypnosis, but still, you know.
Whatever it takes.
Whatever.
Use stun grenades. That's cheating.
That's cheating.
It's cheating, you nick. What did you expect? Sportsmanship?
All right, fellow. What's your name?
You can call me Monkey Wrench. Me hobbies are heavy metal, unprovoked mayhem.
Is Naga hide in this one?
No.
Loud
not.
explosions.
He must be recruited even later.
Fitting appellation. Welcome to the dreadnought.
I believe you are premature, sir. There is only one applicant suitable for the position of new
And I feel like he
dreadnought, and that is me.
should have just pulled up into the Thunder Machine and be like, yep, there's my application.
Yeah.
Give me the job.
And I
Did the original 3 get any kind of additional power, or they're just
Well, I mean, I imagine it's kind of like a pyramid of power. So money would trickle down, and they would get some of the kickbacks there.
I like that. More pyramid schemes.
Yeah.
We ain't intelligent, eh? We'll show you who's intelligent. We will.
Torch has some like lady hips right there.
I mean, Thrasher would have totally taken him if he would have had his lacrosse stick with him.
Whoops.
Daddy's disease. Make like ice and freeze.
Joe.
Daddy's disease was great.
That's the next band.
Yeah.
Mission, or we are gonna rotate your ears.
Not so fast, Sister Z.
Sister Z.
Yeah.
Another band.
Ready,
Yes.
Master Reed?
Have a look.
It's like, I can't read, I told you.
Tombs of some of history's most infamous conquerors.
What the heck for?
Looks
What the
like
heck
that
for?
information went up in smoke. Huh?
The dual Gatlings are a lot less scary when they shoot lasers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To prove my worth, I'll destroy your enemies. Agreed. Finish them.
And that's your favorite vehicle right there, right?
It is. It's awesome.
So is that an official Cobra vehicle that he just happens to own, or?
So, yeah, that's kind of weird. It shouldn't be. I always kind of hated that the toy had Cobra logos on it because they should be independent. And why he pulls up with it, not even being a Dreadnought with Cobra, like, did he go to the flea market and get some Cobra stickers and slap them on his car or something?
Yeah, all the Destro stuff has Cobra stickers too.
Yeah. I mean, I know it's for the toys, so the kids know who's good and who's bad, but this is what we have to look forward to on the next episode we cover.
The terrifying Castle of Dracula.
Castle of Dracula.
They should have grabbed some Ronald Reagan DNA while you're at it.
Threatens the very future of the Earth. All in the next exciting episode of Arise, Serpentor, Arise.
Your eyes.
G.I. Joe will return after these messages.
Here we go.
Yeah.
The best looking bike in the block. I don't
That's a
feel
lie. It is not going to be the best
Don't
looking
you know
bike.
you're not supposed to use spray paints without lots of fresh air?
Dial tone.
All paints, and especially spray paints, have poisonous gases in them. If you breathe too much, you can get very sick.
We didn't know.
Always read the label carefully and check for warnings before you start any job.
Wouldn't hurt to wear these masks either.
Also, when you're using whipped cream, don't go all the way. Just kind of sniff it for a while.
Was the term huffing around in the 80s?
I believe so. I know the early 90s it was, because I remember this episode of Cops that has stuck with me, of these guys that lived behind a body shop and huffed all the time, and I was like, I am never doing that. Those guys.
Codename Whip It.
86.
Mike, what were you doing in 86?
I was either senior in high school or first year in college.
Okay.
Think about what month it was.
You weren't watching this.
No, I was not. So
That is part one of Arise, Serpentor Arise. I think it's pretty good. Like, I think this is much more of a serious story than, definitely than when we covered Zartan and his band. But
yeah.
A lot of the cartoon episodes, I appreciate this story more than some of the others.
Yeah, it's cool because also there's a tie into like a plot that you would see in a movie. The idea of taking DNA of these former military strategists and kind of doing something a larger picture. So yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, definitely. When I watched this, even as an adult, I'm like, I kind of want to see episode 2. It really drew me in. The animation that's better, that helps. And it was a really good episode.
Yeah, I don't know if the animation quality stays that way through all of season 2 or if it's just for this first 5 parts. So that'll be something I'll have to look into. There's so much of the cartoon that I just don't remember. Like, I don't know. I don't know if I mentioned it before we started recording or not, but I really enjoy doing this because it's like watching it all for the first time again.
Yeah, I don't remember anything from any of these cartoons. Just even though, it to me the cartoons were the side dish to the toys as a kid. So it added some flavor here and there, but the cartoons don't say anyone's name really too often, whereas like the comic has names all the time, and the action figure with the file cards, and that's like like our Bible, sort of what was in that file card. So to me, the cartoon was like just added flavor text, if you will.
Yeah, I think this episode mentioned characters' names more than any of the others. Like it almost felt weird how they were like almost introducing some of the characters as they were coming in.
Yeah, good point.
But you're right. In the comic book, that's like a big thing. Like as soon as you come in the panel, everyone has to say everybody else's name, and
yeah,
well, that's how comics were in the 80s too. They assumed you did not have access to the prior issues, so they had to spend the first 3 pages recapping what happened last.
Yeah, and it introduced every character in the
Yeah.
first couple panels once again. But
every issue is somebody's first issue.
Yeah.
Well, I enjoyed this, and we're going to go through the other 4 parts of this series throughout the month of July. If you're watching them as they're coming out every Saturday in July, we're going to cover a part of Arise, Serpentor, Arise. So you can watch them as they're coming out once a week, every Saturday morning, or you can wait till the end of July and just watch all 5 parts together. Or you can cheat the whole system and just go to Hasbro's YouTube channel and watch them there.
But then you don't get us, though.
Right, the best part.
Yes.
I would think it's sort of like Serpentor's Independence Day we're celebrating.
Sure. Yeah. Well, that is another thing. So is it when he is created, is that his birthday? He's not really birthed, or is that his creation day? Or how does that work?
Very philosophical. I don't know if this audience is ready for it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's give out some ratings. You want to start us, Johnny?
Sure. It's 5 flag points, correct?
Out of 5. Yep.
5 is the highest and 1 is the lowest.
Correct.
All right. I'm going to go with 4. It had a bunch of cool characters, a lot of Dreadnought love in there, and set up this 5-part story nicely. So 4 flag points.
All right. How about you, Valdrick?
I was going to go 4 as well. Again, I don't know what's coming because I have not seen these at all ever. So I don't know if they peaked early or what. So I'm going to give it a 4, and hopefully there are some ones that are better. But as I said before, this definitely piqued my interest, and I honestly want to see more. So
awesome. I'm also going to give it 4. I wanted to give it 4.5, but there's a couple parts in the episode that were kind of like slowed things down where I was like, oh man, I was into that storyline, and then we went off somewhere else to do not much of anything.
I would say that the scene with them like kind of talking about their ranks, that one seems to go viral on its own, that scene. Like I've seen that around, people talking about like, wait a minute, is Duke the leader? That kind of thing.
Yeah, except I don't remember Beachhead's rank offhand, but I believe he should be ranked higher than Duke in the order.
Because he's working with new recruits, so is that why he's kind of like, is that the idea that he's more like,
I don't know. I mean, the real overall idea is they just wanted Duke in charge. They want the Hawk and Duke would be the 2 guys they wanted out there leading things. Because
Duke is the blonde hair, blue eye leader that we all crave so much.
Yeah, exactly. But I did a lot of the characters that were introduced in this one are still some of my favorites, but were definitely some of my favorites as a kid. Seeing the Thunder Machine and having Slaughter come with the Triple T and everything. So that was really cool seeing all that again.
And this came out in '86. You guys said, right?
Yeah,
I believe so.
You know, it's funny. Like to me, it seems like that would be in the heyday for me, but yet it feels a little bit shifted for me, like where I didn't recognize a few of the characters.
And I wonder how much of that too was like, because when we measure what was happening as a kid, like stuff that was on the peg could have been there for quite a while when we saw it, or cartoons we could have been watching the reruns as leading up to the new episode. So our timeline may not be as accurate as the dates.
That's a good point. We might have
definitely look at like the figures that came out, and I could pick this block. Like, oh, these were all the ones I had, so that's when I started. But that seems a little early for me. But it was probably because they were just sitting around on pegs still. Or
good point. You're right. Yeah, our timelines are kind of messed up. It's kind of like me waiting forever to see Marvel movies now. Things haven't changed.
Well, thank you guys for joining me. This is a lot of fun, and I look forward to the next one and more Arise, Serpentor, Arise.
That was a real American Brian. And now you know, because knowing is half the Brian.